Hey everybody, we're back. This time we're taking a look at a Wave 24 ship. This time it's the IKS Drovana. First time we're finally getting a retail Vor'cha-class that's not Mirror Universe. And we'll get right in and take a look. So we have our Vor'cha-class maneuver card. Pretty standard Klingon setup. Has the green block here in the middle. 3 hard turns are red. That come about in there is kind of nice, but pretty much standard fare for Klingon ships. There we have our IKS Drovana, the named. Vor'cha is probably my favorite ship in the game, so having another retail named version is nice. You have 5 attack, 1 agility, 5 hull, 3 shield. You have 1 tech upgrade, 2 weapon upgrades, and a crew upgrade for 28 points. Evasive, target lock, cloak, and sensor echo. And their ability is, when defending during the compare results step, you may discard one of your non-disabled upgrades to cancel a hit or crit. It can be useful in the right situation, being able to cancel crits out. Being able to choose really is what makes that nice, to knock out some of those crits. Then we have our generic Vor'cha-class. You're losing 1 shield, and you're losing 1 weapon upgrade for 26 points. For captains, we have Bajoran. Captain skill of 5, 1 elite talent for 3 points. As an action, if there's not already a battle station token beside your ship, place a battle station token beside your ship. In addition, if your ship is a Klingon ship with a Klingon captain assigned to it, you may immediately perform an additional action from your action bar as a free action. Really nice version of Bajoran here. Definitely lots of different uses for him. Captain skill of 5 is kind of weak for the most part for Klingons, but the ability itself here is just really nice. The fact that you can take the battle stations and pretty much put it on any ship and then get the free action on top of that if it's a Klingon ship with a Klingon captain. He is an admiral, so I see that getting used as more than him as a captain, because I think there's better captains out there as far as skill wise. But for his ability for 3 points is well worth it. He does give you a +0 to the captain skill, which kind of sucks at that. But for the ability you're getting and the cost, I think he's well worth it. Probably one of the better ones the Klingons have. Next we have Kurn. Captain skill of 5 for 3 points. During the combat phase, each time you defend, you may reroll one of your battle station results. If this card is assigned to a Klingon ship, you may reroll 2 of your battle station results. Kurn may field a Klingon upgrade, even though he doesn't have an upgrade slot. I'm not sure why they didn't just give him the slot. Odd restriction, I guess because they're restricting it to just Klingon upgrades, elite talents, instead of any. But just seems kind of weird. I see him being useful if you have a ship that doesn't have a way to make use of battle stations. Then being able to reroll those is nice. If you're combining him with some of the other cards that let you actually take the battle station's action, then you're not going to be wanting to re-roll those, so chances are you're not really going to be using his ability. Captain skill of 5 is pretty middle of the road as far as Klingons are concerned, but as I said, if you don't have any way to make use of battle stations and your other higher skilled captains are already in use, or maybe you can't afford the points for them, so I don't think they cost too much more than him. Definitely uses in those situations though. And then we have our generic Klingon captain. Captain skill of 1 for 0 points. For our elite talents, we probably have one of the most looked for cards. People have been asking for this for probably over a year now, since the Praetus came out with the Romulan cloaked mines. But finally got our answer to it here. So for our elite talent, we have detonation codes. 4 points. As an action, discard this card to target a minefield token within range 1 to 3. Roll the number of attack dice listed on the mine's upgrade card -1. All ships within range 1 of that minefield token suffer damage as normal from any hits or crit results. The affected ships do not roll any defense dice. Then you remove the minefield token after it's detonated. So this is kind of a 2-hit punch here. Not only is it the only way in the game currently to remove a minefield from play, it also basically blows it up and does damage to the ships. which comes in really handy against those pesky Romulan cloaked mines where they're laying them and then they kind of sit inside the field at times and shoot out of it, and you either have to go inside the field to engage them, in which case you're taking damage, or they can use them to block off certain parts of the field, but usually they hang out near them because those mines don't affect themselves. By blowing it up with this, you're actually making their own minefields hurt them. Kind of a really cool ability. 4-point discard is expensive, but if you're playing anywhere where there's a mine-heavy meta, you're definitely going to want to have one of these handy. Definitely a useful card. I can't wait to see the other factions start getting something similar so that everybody has a counter. We recently all got counters for fighters squadrons, so it's just a matter of time before everybody gets mine counters as well. For crew upgrades, we have Bo-Rock. 5 points. When attacking during the modified defense dice step, you may disable this card to force the defending ship to re-roll one of its defense dice of your choice. When defending, you may roll your full defense dice in spite of the presence of an opposing ship's scan token. Kind of nice if you're playing people who like to use multiple scan tokens to fight back against cloaks, especially if you're playing Klingons with a cloak-heavy fleet. The ability to force them to reroll is kind of a nice thing. It's a disable, so it's reusable. 5 points is kind of steep, but at the same time you're getting two different effects here. The ability to keep rolling all your defense dice is nice on its own. The ability to force them to reroll things is nice as well. So it can be worth it. Definitely an interesting option to have available. For weapon upgrades, we have photon torpedoes. 5 points, attack value of 5, range 2 to 3. Spend your target lock and place 3 time tokens on this card to perform the attack. If it fires from the Vor'cha-class ship, add +1 attack die. It's your basic photon torpedoes, but with the time token mechanic, and also the bonus for the Vor'cha-class. I think the Vor'cha that came in the starter set came with torpedoes that had a bonus for the Vor'cha-class as well. So it's pretty much a reprint of that with time tokens in place of the disable. Torpedoes still a bit underpowered in the game, but thematically, if you want to play them, they're there. These are slightly better, I think, than the standard disable types. And there's certain situations where they come in useful as well. Certain scenarios and things may make them worth taking, but still, torpedoes are a bit underpowered in my opinion. For tech upgrades, we have cloaked mines. 3 points. During the planning phase, you may discard this card to place a minefield token within range 1 of your ship in any direction, but not within range 3 of an enemy ship. If an enemy ship passes within range 1 of the token, roll 3 attack dice. -1 of that ship immediately performs a scan action. Any hits or crit damage the ship as normal. And the affected ship doesn't get to roll any defense dice. Pretty much a reprinting of the Klingon cloaked mines we've already gotten. Not quite as good as the Romulan counterpart, but still useful in the right situations. More of a board denial than their surprise drop them in front of somebody. The ship doesn't come with a minefield token, and this just tells you to use a generic one. So it's not specific whether you have to use the one that came with the previous Klingon cloaked mines, which is slightly smaller and different shape than the standard one, or if they're finally admitting that that was a mistake and that all minefields are supposed to use the same token. Waiting to see an errata on that, but until then, I'd almost say you could use the standard one with this anyway. I don't think anybody's really going to argue with you. Just because this ship doesn't come with a template. The other one, I believe, was a prize ship or an OP pack of some sort, so not everybody had access to it. And the cloaked mine templates in the starter set are the larger ones. So I'm almost willing to bet they're going to rule in the favor that you can use that one, because that's the one that most people are going to have. Their next tech upgrade is security sensors. 5 points. If an enemy upgrade or captain targets your ship, immediately place a evasive token beside your ship, even if there's one already there. Kind of an interesting one. Just for targeting your ship, you get that. And it's not a discard, it's not a disable, so you could get that multiple times in a single turn. Stack up a nice pile of tokens. Very useful against people who are using crew ganking abilities or things that disable or steal cards from your ship, taking your upgrades and basically screwing up your combos and plans. This gives you a nice counter to it. At least you get something out of the deal. It doesn't really protect anything, but it gives you those evasive tokens so you can protect your ship. And last, we have emergency power. 4 points. During the activation phase, if there's an auxiliary power token beside your ship, you may disable this card to either perform a red maneuver or perform an action. No ship can be equipped with more than one emergency power upgrade. Kind of an interesting thing. It basically negates the effects of an auxiliary power token for one turn. You disable this in its place. And then this is disabled, you have an auxiliary power, so you won't be able to take the action to re-enable it until you clear the auxiliary power. So it frees you up for an extra turn, though, to do something if you have some other tactical option you need to do to achieve something that turn instead of having to wait a turn to clear out that. Very interesting. I like the fact that it gives you a little more variety in the options you get to choose. The rest of the expansion, this one's kind of light on tokens, as seems to be the norm lately. They did give you a battle station token with Bajoran. They gave you the cloaking token for the ship. Maybe your captain tokens. You have 3 time tokens with their additional rules card to go with the torpedoes. You have the admiral token and the admiral additional rules card to go with Bajoran. And that's pretty much it. No tokens for the minefield, no tokens for shields or any of that stuff. They've been cutting back on those lately, so it's not surprising that they're not here. Mission for this one is detonation codes. 2-player mission involving a Federation and a Klingon fleet. So it's 90 points, including exactly two Klingon ships. One of them must be a Vor'cha, and neither of them can have detonation code upgrade. Versus 45 points of one and only one Federation ship that must have the detonation codes upgrade, even if the captain doesn't have an upgrade icon. You basically place out a minefield and a couple other points. Minefield has special rules. And the Federation has the stolen detonation codes. Your objectives are to destroy the Federation player if you're the Klingons, or the Federation player has to either destroy both Klingon ships and or destroy the minefield. So, interesting thematic game there. Curious to see how that one plays out. The model is the same one we got recently for the Mirror Universe Vor'cha. It's that coppery metallic color. Kind of like this paint scheme better than the old. It's a little more fitting. Too shiny though. Need some darkening down to make it really nice and stand out. As with all of them, lots of detail in the model, but not much is painted. On the old style of the Vor'chas, like all these windows up here were painted and things, everything was highlighted. They really didn't go into any detail at all on that stuff. It's kind of disappointing, but overall the model I think is an improvement. There we have our base for the IKS Drovana. 90-degree front arc, no rear arc. It's kind of sad that the Vor'cha doesn't have rear arc. That's probably its biggest weakness, but it's all around so much a nice ship all the way around that it really doesn't hurt it that much. And there's our generic Vor'cha with the same 90-degree front. Overall, it's a really solid expansion. I'm glad that we finally get a retail version of the Vor'cha. Comes with some great cards. I wish I didn't already stock up on 4 of the old Vor'chas, but I'll probably pick up a couple of these for myself. Bajoran's a really nice admiral. Okay as a captain. I prefer him as an admiral. The ship itself, the generic Vor'cha, is one of the best ships the Klingons have, so having another option for a named one, definitely nothing wrong with that. Detonation codes is a great card. Unfortunately, as with all of the new elite talents, it is unique, so you're only allowed to have one of them. But it does put a damper on the people who run mine spam. At least you can blow up one of their minefields, maybe catch one of their ships in the process. A retail version of Klingon cloaked mines is definitely appreciated. It's another way to get those, even if they are slightly worse than the Romulan variant. Kind of wish they had printed them the same, but you have to have differences in there. A couple other decent upgrades here and there. Nothing else is really spectacular, but all around it's a pretty good package, though. You get several good cards in here. And aside from detonation codes being unique, definitely worth picking up multiples, I think, at least in my opinion, because it is my favorite ship. Definitely worth running a couple of these. I ran 4 Vor'chas in a fleet for, I don't remember which event it was. One of the last OPs I played in. It was either the Void or the first of the classic movie ones. And they really wrecked house, so... Oh, it was the Doomsday Machine. That's what I ran it for. But definitely a powerhouse of a ship, and one of my favorites. And cool to see it in retail. Anyway, that's it for this video, and we'll see you in the next one.